Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I have a few updates on what's been going on recently for me within the hobby, but specifically the card room. I also got some things back in the mail this week. I can tell you where I'm at with the SGC Order 2, if there's any updates there. And yeah, so I got a few updates I want to be able to kind of share with you here in a second. So starting off the card room, obviously behind me, you may notice over my shoulder there's some things hung. This weekend I spent some time hanging up some pictures and posters and things like that in the room. The card cases are actually up and they look phenomenal. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I am waiting, so the room is essentially done. Yeah, and I'm not going to be doing a video just yet for a couple different reasons. One in particular is I want to kind of spend some time on it. I want to kind of do something very specific with it, so I have something in mind that I'd like to do with the video. But secondarily, I'm still waiting for some things to come back from SGC to be able to help supplement what's in my cases and displays. So that's the original order I was talking about that I put in at the end of May. I still have it right now, so I think they've had it now for the better part of 3 weeks, so this will be going on the 4th week. So I know the window they say is like 15, 20 business days. I know it's been going a little longer than that for people recently. So I'm kind of anticipating maybe by the end of this week, I might see that they have at least put it in post-grading. So that's what I'm hoping for, and may be able to receive it before the 4th of July. If not, I think it'll probably come the following week after the 4th of July. Probably will have post-grading and grades posted during the week of 4th of July. But there's things in that order that I want to be able to kind of display here that are my cards out of that order, and then I'll be able to kind of have things for sale. All the cards that are for sale right now, I can let you know what's still available. You just need to go to my previous video and email me to let me know which ones you might be interested in. And again, I'm happy to be able to work out a deal to send those to you now, or we can find time to be able to exchange these if you're going to be attending the National at the end of next month. So that's it with the card room. I will say that I am looking at all the walls right now. I am more than pleased with how it be able to kind of turned out. I'm really happy with how the displays have turned out. Just sort of its look in general. I was really kind of trying to go for something that felt a little bit more like a museum, if you will. So that's kind of what I strive to be able to do with the way I created this room. And 7 months later, I'm happy to be able to kind of say that I'm this close now to be able to put the video together, and I'll have that for you soon. Probably mid-July is when I anticipate probably being able to get that done. And probably would start it earlier if I had the things back. So that's that. One of the other kind of exciting things I noticed when I was looking at my video histories and number of views, I had my first video go over 10,000 views. Now, I know we've talked about like in the space about set collecting and how there's not a lot of young set collectors out there, and that maybe the set collecting hobby itself is kind of going away. I can't tell just based on views, because my most watched video is a 1969 Topps complete set. The next one is the 67 set, and I think it's the 70 set thereafter. So it does seem like people are kind of building those late 60s, early 70s sets right now. Probably because the price point probably works for a lot of people. You start getting back in the early 60s and especially into the 50s, it gets much more expensive than it did when I started building some of these sets back in the day. Now, I haven't completed all the sets from the early 60s or the 50s either. I've done here and there, as I've kind of discussed on the channel, and I've shared most of those with you already. But like it is kind of expensive being able to put it together, and I think that may be one of the things that's a bit of a deterrent for people kind of deep jumping in on that end of collecting vintage sets, and where it's much more easier to try and put together things from the 70s and late 60s. And they probably, like if you're my age, you watch some of those players play, because a lot of the rookie cards are players that played into the 80s. And early 90s, if you include like Nolan Ryan, for example. So maybe that's also too, there's a little bit more attachment to those players than guys who maybe debuted in the 50s and retired by the time they were in the early 70s or even before then. All right, so I do have a stack of cards to kind of show you here, and 2 of these cards are going to go right into my display, whereas others will probably be kind of put in future grading orders at some point to help supplement some of the displays, but they're not ones I need right now. So I'm going to turn this camera around, and I'm going to show you what I picked up over the course of the last month here in a second. All right, camera's turned around. Now, the first thing I did actually was not a pickup, but actually something I ordered. I actually created cards. Now, I wanted this to be more centered, so that didn't work out exactly the way I wanted to, but these are things I want to be able to have on hand to hand out to people when I talk about having a YouTube channel and they want to know a little bit more about it, but also, where they can find me. Also have my email address on here too, which I think will be kind of good when I meet people out at card shows, especially like the National. I know a lot of people pass things around there. So I have created this, so I'm pretty excited to have that. To be able to share with people starting as early as next month. All right, so let's do stuff that's not graded here first. I'm gonna go through these. Let me adjust the camera here so we can get it into the frame. All right, I'm gonna start with oldest to newest, starting with, this is a Dylan approved card. He actually picked it up a few months ago. This is the Roger Maris card from the 2001 top set. This is the gold, which is numbered out of 2001. I think this one in particular is numbered out of number 550. So I didn't have this previously because I was just trying to get the Hall of Fame players and also the current stars that were going to be likely Hall of Fame players when I was getting these golden moments. But after I saw it on Dylan's channel, I was like, I probably need to add the Maris in the same way I added Joe Carter in a few months ago too. So I did pick one up for that. And so there he is. Roger Maris celebrating his 61st home run, obviously in 1961. And then I also got Miguel Tejada, who was the MVP, I believe, in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, from the Oakland Athletics. I also ordered Chuck Knobloch, too, to kind of round out the order. Still didn't get that one for some reason. I got all these from Sport Lots back in April. And I was been waiting for that one to be added to my box for about a month and a half. And at that point, I just said, all right, let's send what I have at this point. If that one ever makes it to the box, great. I don't know if they got lost in transit or it's lost at Sport Lots itself and got put in the wrong person's box. But that's a nice cheap way to be able to pick up cards because you pay a lot less for shipping when they send it all to Sport Lots, and then you pay one small shipping fee to be able to get all these cards returned to you. The only other one I want from the 2001 top set with the gold parallels is still Will Clark. There's one on eBay, but I just don't like the price point at this point. I want to pay about half as much on it. All right, this one I forgot to take out of my cart, but I'm still not unhappy to have it. This is Madison Bumgarner. I was looking at some of the diamond anniversaries at the time, and I thought I removed them all, except for the one I wanted to be able to pick up, but it didn't cost a lot to get the Madison Bumgarner. It's a name that I think has kind of gone by the wayside in the last few years since his retirement, but that little stretch there with the Giants, especially in 2015, I think that was the series against the Royals, or 2014, I should say, he was unbelievable. So I really enjoyed watching him. I thought he had a lot of grit. And here's some cards I would like to be able to kind of submit for grading in the future to kind of help certain runs. So I started working on, see what Derek Jeters they had. So this is the 2006 Topps Gold All-Star from the Update series. There he is when that game was in San Diego in 2006. I have a few of those left. Here's one from 2008. It's another one of the combo cards. This is one where he's with Michael Young from the Rangers. This was the All-Star game at Yankee Stadium in 2008. This is also from the Update series. And this one's really cool. This is a league leader card. He doesn't have a lot of league leader cards that I know of, especially not gold parallels. I think he just has two, maybe a third one I'm trying to hunt down. This one's kind of cool. It's got Joe Mauer on it, Hall of Famer Ichiro with that really great follow through and picture of him, Hall of Famer, and then Derek Jeter. Again, this is going to be numbered out of, I think, 2010. This is from 2010. When Jeter was third in the American League in hitting with a 334. And he was 31 points behind Joe Mauer, who had a 365 that season. I think it's kind of a cool card. Here's a 2011. This is actually, speaking of Ichiro, I had that one listed on there too, so I picked this one up. I think I might have gotten it from the same seller. This is the Cognac one. All right, now we have a Pujols card. This is the last one from the Sport Lots order. This is the 2021 Heritage Chrome Refractor. Didn't have this one yet. I think I have all of the refractors now going back, I think, to 2016. I think it's the first one I need now. So I haven't really focused a lot on these lately, but this might be actually the first one I picked up this year. A pretty good looking card. All right, so now on to the graded cards. We'll do older here on this one, and then we'll finish with the big pickup of the month, and I'll talk about that in a second. Oh, this is no small pickup, because actually this one actually will commemorate my point in my set where I've actually gotten now up to 2/3 of the Diamond Star set. So this gets me up to 64 cards of the 96 that I'm targeting. This one, I was able to make an offer on it, watched it for a few months, and he actually accepted it at a price that I felt was more than fair. I think he was just trying to move this. This is a name that, unfortunately, despite his playing day feats, in which he was a multiple All-Star, played on World Series team with the Yankees, is marred by his on-the-field activities in some ways. So he was known to pick on like players of Jewish descent during the late 30s, calling them names, derogatory names, but also giving them the Nazi salute. This was before, obviously, we entered the war. So he definitely was showing some anti-Semitism, which I think he always kind of claimed that I'm just was kind of goading players, trying to get them upset, get them off their game. And, you know, it wasn't really like beliefs I had, blah, blah, blah. I just have a hard time kind of believing that, because when Jackie Robinson debuted, he was the manager for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he did the same thing to Jackie Robinson, and to the point where, you know, obviously it's captured in the movie, obviously, that featured Jackie Robinson, but 42, but he had to be confronted by one of his old teammates who was playing for the Dodgers at that time. And, you know, then he had to have this reconciliation meeting with Jackie Robinson on the field where they were kind of holding a bat together. You know, just kind of a disgrace. You know, I think, unfortunately, to the teams he kind of played for because of some of his views and antics. But he is part of the Diamond Star set, and, you know, it's card number 38. So it's going to fit into one of my displays here where I have the Diamond Stars, which I'll be sharing with you, obviously, in the future. But this is definitely one of those players where, you know, if he wasn't part of this set and I'm working on the set, I would have no interest in picking up a Ben Chapman card. So, unfortunately, not the best of the Yankees you could get from that set. All right, so the next one, my friend Robbie a couple weeks ago gave me, it was my birthday, and he gave me my birthday gift, which is a gift card to eBay. And this card in particular had gone up for auction and had seen it for months as a buy it now, and I just thought it was a little bit too expensive and I was prioritizing some other things. But then it went to auction and I was like, oh, okay. They knocked the price down a little bit for the starting bid, which was kind of in the range that I wanted to be at for it. So I'm like, okay, I'll probably try and go after this card now, but I was trying to like balance that with some Diamond Stars I was looking at too. And then, you know, just a few days before the auction was going to end is when I got that gift card from my friend, which, you know, helped me put in a bid where I thought it was going to be pretty competitive to be able to pick up this card. And it is none other than a 2021 Topps Chrome Sapphire Orange of Albert Pujols. This is from Series 1, card number 178. This is going to be numbered out of 25. This is 20 of 25. I do have the red refractor too, numbered out of 5, which is sitting at SGC right now. So there we go. Get a little bit closer so you can see it. Just a beautiful, beautiful card here. And I do like the horizontal image on this card in particular. So I think would make it better is if he was in a St. Louis Cardinal uniform, in my opinion. And no offense to my Angel friends out there, Dylan probably being the biggest that I know. But I always kind of see him as a Cardinal in my mind, and this card is just a beaut. So that is it. So again, the big ones were a Diamond Star, this Albert Pujols, and then a few things from Sport Lots that kind of fit into my Jeter and Pujols collections. And I will be back soon, probably resuming my complete set series videos. I wasn't able to do one last month because of everything I was doing in this office. But I don't see a reason why I won't be able to put that out next weekend. And maybe, optimistically, I might have an update on my SGC order, maybe letting you know my firsthand reaction of receiving the grades, even though I might have the cards to be able to share with you. But I might be able to share with you my thoughts and excitement around, or disappointment around certain cards that got graded. All right, so have a great rest of your week, and I will be back very, very soon.